ACON 2025 arrived with its identity already in place.
It will be in Asia.
It was expected to be another
We are witnessing
Asian
a mega
festival
festival
where boy bands from
built on
across the continent aren't
and
just
the familiar
participating
centers
in the
of global
global
influence.
conversation. They are
Then
dictating its terms.
SB19 stepped onto that stage,
Some will
and the
command
story
the
stopped
charts.
moving in the usual direction.
Others will command the very
International
infrastructure
outlets
of the
did
music
not treat the
business.
moment like routine festival coverage.
Fan
influence, touring power,
The response
and corporate
suggested
strategy.
something bigger.
This isn't about
A
fleeting
performance
trends.
that changed how the event would
This
be
is a
remembered,
recalibration
unsettled
of power.
long-standing assumptions about who
Today,
belongs at the
we
top,
are analyzing
and
the
pushed
15
global
Asian
attention
boy
toward
bands that
Filipino
represent
pop
the
in a new
vanguard
way.
of this new era.
That shift did not
This
happen
ranking
in
is
a
not a
vacuum.
measure of popularity.
Before SB19
It is a
performed
measure
single
of
note,
systemic
ACON
impact.
2025 already
And the top
represented a
three
very
are not
specific
just
kind of music
successful
space.
artists.
It
They
was
are
an Asia-focused
architects of a new
festival
reality.
designed around status as much as
15,
entertainment.
INI.
The lineup
We begin
reflected
with
the
the
steady
same
power
perfected
bases that have
mechanics.
dominated major tours.
At number 15,
Awards
INI represents
and widely
the formidable
consumed
power
playlists
of a
for
proven
years.
system.
On a
Their
stage
sonic
like that,
identity merges
appearances
the
mean more than
appeal of
visibility.
traditional
J-pop idol
They
charm with the
signal
sharp
rank.
edge of modern pop rock. They show who is seen as
The
central,
result is
who
an
seen as
artistic
exportable,
framework
that
and
feels
who is
both
still
familiar
expected
and
to watch from the
contemporary,
edges.
executed with a level
That
of
has
precise,
always been part of
visually
the
arresting
unspoken structure
choreography
behind
that leaves
events
no
like
room
this.
for error. Certain
But their
markets
true
are assumed
influence
to
is
supply the
economic.
headliners. Others
INI
are
operates
expected to
within the
admire,
resilient
support,
Japanese
and
idol
consume.
model, an ecosystem built on
The
tangible
branding may
loyalty.
promise a broad regional
They're
platform,
highly organized
but the
fan
practice
base
is often
functions
less
far
like an
narrower.
audience and more like a strategic
filtering
partner,
rarely
driving
looks
physical
dramatic.
album sales, coordinated
It works
streaming
quietly.
campaigns, and fan events
It
with
lives in
ruthless
habits,
efficiency, assumptions, and repeated
This
choices.
is not
the unpredictable
A
currency of
festival
viral
can call
moments.
itself
It is the
global while still
reliable
protecting
machinery
an
of
old
devotion.
order. That was
Their
the
revenue
atmosphere
structure
surrounding
is a
ACON
fortress.
2025 before
Arena
anything
and dome
disruptive
tours
happened.
across Japan are not speculative
And then
ventures.
SB19
They are
appeared on the
guaranteed
bill as the
multi-million
only
yen events.
Filipino act
among a roster of
14,
elite Asian performers.
47 on.
That detail
While INI
masters a
immediately.
proven system. The group
Not
at number
because it
14
created a
is building
symbolic
an entirely new
representation
moment, but because of what it
47 on
implies
is
about
not
the
just a
standard
band.
being
It
applied.
is a
proof of concept.
There is a real difference
Their
between
music is a
filling
deliberate
lineup gap
fusion,
and being chosen
merging the
because
melodic
their level
sensibilities
matches the
of
stage.
P-pop with the high-octane
People
performance
inside
energy
the
of
industry
K-pop.
know the difference very well.
They balance infectious choruses with
19's
formidable rap
inclusion
lines
did
and
not look
harmonies,
like a token
creating
gesture.
a product designed for cross-cultural
It looked
appeal.
like a competitive
This hybridity
decision.
is the core of their strategy.
That alone changed the
group's
equation before the
multicultural
set even
composition
began.
is
Not a novelty.
Their
It is an
booking
asset that
suggested
unlocks
growing
both
confidence
Filipino
not only
and
in the
international
group,
fan
but in the
bases
market they come
simultaneously.
from. Their
Filipino
social media
pop was no
engagement
longer
is a
being
dual
treated
language
as peripheral,
operation, building
experimental,
parallel streams of support.
or still
The
waiting
growing
for
demand
approval.
for their tours across Southeast
The
Asia
invitation
is not
signals
just
that
a
it
sign
could
of
compete in a
popularity.
space
It
usually
is evidence
reserved
of a
for acts
scalable
already
model for
accepted at the
international
highest
expansion.
regional
tier.
13.
In other
Zero
words, the
Basion.
conversation had moved
At number
before the
13,
music started.
we encounter a different kind of
The
power.
assumption
The
that
project
Filipino
group
acts were
phenomenon
present
refined
mainly
into
for
a science.
visibility had already been challenged.
Zero Basion operates on
Then
a
came
model
the
of high
actual
intensity,
performance,
short
and that
cycle
is where the
success.
larger shift became impossible
Their musical
to ignore.
foundation,
A sleek blend of
ACON
pop,
is not
R&B,
the kind of
and
stage
electronic
that hides
elements is
weaknesses.
delivered through flawlessly synchronized
The live
dance and
vocals are
promotions heavily
exposed.
weighted toward digital
The
content.
choreography is punishing. Their entire structure is
Energy has
engineered
to hold
for
under
immediate
pressure,
impact.
and mistakes do not stay hidden for
The
long.
built-in
fan base,
There is
cultivated
very
through
little
the high-stakes
protection
drama
built
of
into a
survival
setting
shows,
like that.
guarantees instant
An
social
artist
media
either holds
velocity
the
and
line or
content
gets
virality
exposed
from
by
day
the
one.
conditions.
This isn't a slow burn,
SB19 held
it is
it.
an explosion. Their vocals
Their
stayed
first
firm under
concert tours
demanding
did not
conditions.
build momentum. They sold
Their
out
movement
within
remained
hours.
sharp without slipping
Their
into something
merchandise
cold
lines
or
and
overly
brand
collaborations were not future goals.
This
They were
Filipino act
profitable
is
from
doing
being better
better
than expected, and started
12
sounding like
Reais.
this is a top-level
From a
performance.
short
cycle project,
that
we moved to a
distinction is
long-term
crucial.
strategic play.
Once the focus
Reais,
shifts from
at number
identity
12,
to level,
represents
the
the
frame
next
changes
evolutionary
completely.
step in a legacy
At that
powerhouse's
point,
global
representation
strategy.
is no longer the main
Backed by
headline.
the formidable infrastructure
Command
of
M
SS.
Entertainment. This
The
group is
online
not being
reaction
built
made
to
this
succeed.
shift easy
It
to
is
track
being
in real
deployed.
time. Their
Social
social feeds
a dynamic
began
mix
filling
of
with
pop,
posts from
hip-hop,
viewers
and
who had
EDM
not tuned
is
in
paired
for
with a
P-pop
visual
and had no
aesthetic that
particular
squarely
reasons
targets
a
a
fashion-conscious youth demographic.
Curiosity
Their engagement
turned into
model is
respect
relentless.
while the performance
A
was
constant
still
stream
unfolding.
of content across TikTok
People
and
stayed
Instagram
because
keeps
the
their
set
fan base
demanded their
perpetually
attention.
invested, converting
Not because
attention
of
into sustained
organized
loyalty.
pressure. Their growth trajectory is already mapped out. A calculated expansion from small arenas into stadium-level tours. This is not a hopeful projection. It is a corporate rollout plan. The focus was not on flags, origin stories, or identity markers. The group at number 11 takes the concept of cross-border strategy and elevates it to the level of corporate synergy and crowd control.
NEXC is the embodiment of co-production novelty and more accelerated market dominance.
Viewers their artistic identity is a carefully calibrated hybrid, balancing the melodrama of J-pop with the propulsive energy of the stage, seamlessly shifting between kind of momentum is difficult to manufacture after the fact because it is most convincing when it forms during the performance itself. From survival programs in both Japan and Korea, Red is organic rather than two of Asia's largest music markets.
It did not wait for edits, their operational structure reflects
to become persuasive.
Dual management ensures a constant, synchronized
building
presence.
As the set happened.
10. The Boys.
The strongest viral moments with explosive growth and viral moments. The Boys
are not
at number
carried
10
by
are a
anticipation
testament
alone.
to a quieter but equally powerful
They are carried
force.
by the gap between what people
Their musical
expected and
output
what
is
they
a reliable
actually saw.
stream of pop-heavy tracks,
In SB19’s
distinguished by
case,
sophisticated
many viewers were not
harmonization and
asking whether
diverse,
the group
complex
deserved attention.
choreographies. They were asking why they had not been paying attention, but their foundation is solid rock.
The tone of international coverage
stability
added another
a
layer
deeply
to
loyal
the story.
fan base consistently drives
What
streaming
stood out
numbers,
was not
event
exaggerated
attendance, and
excitement.
album pre-orders, creating
It
a
was
predictable
restrained.
and steady flow of revenue.
SB19
While their
were not
global
framed as a
exposure is more
novelty
moderate
act,
and
a lucky
primarily
surprise,
concentrated
or a
in
group
Asia, enjoying a temporary
9.
breakout.
Big Ocean.
At number
Reports
9,
and commentary
we see a group
focused
that
on
is not
craft,
just
endurance,
participating in
and
the
control,
market, but actively redefining
The
its
vocabulary
boundaries.
sounded
familiar
Big Ocean's
for a
influence
reason.
comes from their radical
It was the kind of
reimagining
language
what a
usually
mainstream
reserved
K-pop
for acts
group can
already
be.
trusted
Their
on
entire
major
identity
stages.
is
built on a foundation of
that matters
inclusion
narratives
narratives and
and
storytelling,
perception more
expressed
deeply
through
than
a diverse
headlines do.
range of musical genres. When
This
coverage
unique
stops
positioning
leaning on
has captured
qualifiers,
international
status
media
begins
attention.
to shift. But their strategy is more
SB19
calculated
were
than
not
that.
repeatedly
They are
described
not
with
waiting to be
limiting labels or
discovered. They are
geographic
targeting Western
disclaimers meant
press
to
and
soften
Asian
their
niche markets
achievement.
in a simultaneous. They were not treated as impressive only their in
merchandise
relation
is
to
not
where they
just
came
branded
from. Product. It is
They
an
were
extension
discussed
of
in
their
terms of the
storytelling.
performance itself.
8.
In Hypen.
That
the
is
group
a
at
very
number 8
different kind of
demonstrates how to
recognition.
scale fandom into a
The
global
benchmark
force.
mattered
In
too.
Hypen has mastered the art
The
of
response did not
interactivity as a
confine them
business
to a
model.
regional
Their music,
comparison
a
set.
sophisticated
blend of alt-pop,
Their
R&B,
performance
and
was being
electronic
measured
textures
against
wider
is the
soundtrack
standards.
to a much larger universe of
Not
fan
against a
engagement.
lowered
Their
bar set
connection
aside
with their
for
audience
emerging
is not
markets.
passive. It is a
That
highly
distinction
active,
carries
participatory relationship
It
facilitated
means the
through
act is no
social
longer
media
being
platforms
discussed
and
as a
direct
local
communication
success
story
story.
entering a
This
bigger
deep
room.
engagement is the engine
It
that
means the
powers
act
their
is being
commercial
judged
success.
inside the room.
It has
by
already
the same
propelled them
standards
to
as everyone
stadium-level
else
tours
already
across
there.
Asia,
North America,
In
and
entertainment,
Europe, a milestone
status is
many
often
groups
never
communicated
reached.
indirectly.
7. It is
At
not
tease.
always
From
declared in big
interactivity,
language.
we move to raw, kinetic
Sometimes
power.
it is visible
At number
in what
7,
no longer
a tease
has to
proves
be
that in the
explained.
digital age, the live performance
Once an
remains
act
an
is
uncovered
covered
without
without
protective
driver
framing.
their
Their
brand
brand
is
is built on
without
one
the
core
need to
principle,
constantly
energy.
translate
Their
its
musical
significance
style,
for
a
outsiders.
potent
The
cocktail of
hierarchy
hip-hop
has
and
already
EDM
shifted. Is explicitly designed for
appeared to be the
high-impact
case
stage
here.
shows.
Their fan base is not just a
SB19 were not
collection
being
of
praised
listeners,
as good
it
for
is
a
a community
Filipino group.
forged in the crucible of concert
They were being
culture.
treated
This
as
loyalty,
good,
built
stop.
through shared live experiences,
That is one reason
translates
ACON
directly into
2025
sold-out
carried
international
more weight than
stadium
a trophy
tours and a
moment.
thriving market for limited
Awards
edition
can be
merchandise.
influenced by
The
campaigns,
scarcity of these
fan
items
voting,
only
and waves
reinforces
of momentum.
the exclusivity and
A
dedication
stage like
of the
this works
fandom.
differently.
6.
TXT. Tomorrow
It exposes
X together.
everything
At
in
number
number
6.
6. We find the group that
In
has
front of
become
a
the
mixed
strategic
audience with
blueprint
no
for the
built-in
modern
obligation
global
to
pop
respond.
act. Tomorrow X Together,
There is no
or
guarantee
TXT,
of loyalty.
represents the synthesis of artistry,
No soft
business
landing.
acumen, and fan engagement.
No second layer
Their
of
pop rock
editing to
fusion
change
is the
the
vehicle
impression
for ambitious,
afterward.
thematic storytelling
The performance
that unfolds
either
across
stands on
entire
its own
album
or it
cycles,
does not.
creating a rich narrative For that world reason, for fans festival to invest credibility. Their
often
engagement
means
model
more
is
than numbers on
sophisticated.
paper.
Deploying interactive
It
campaigns
becomes a
that
form of
deepen
proof
fan
that
connection
industry
while
watchers trust
simultaneously
because it has
driving
been
global
stress tested
streaming
in
public.
public. Their commercial expansion is
SB19
methodical
set
and
function
relentless.
like a live
They are
credential.
moving into global arena tours.
It showed
supported by
readiness at a
high-fashion
level that
brand
charts alone
collaborations
cannot
that
fully
elevate their
prove.
brand profile.
Attention
5.
is useful,
NCT.
but reputation
the entity
carries
at
farther.
number 5 is not a group.
ACON
it is a global
2025
pop
seemed to
network.
move SB19
NCT
from one
represents
side
a
of that
radical,
line to the
modular
other.
approach to the boy
They
band
did not
concept.
just receive
Their
applause.
sound,
A hyper-experimental
they
mix of
established
genres
footing in a
is as
place where
adaptable
footing
as
is
their
not
structure.
handed out
The
easily.
system of multiple,
rotating
one-step
subunits
units
is their
is
core
taken.
innovation. This model allows for
SB19 have long been
unprecedented
powered
market
by a committed
saturation.
base, and that foundation remains strategically spread across various units. But ACON 2025 suggested that they are no longer dependent on fan energy alone to generate impact. It is a strength. Their reach now appears to extend into general tours for individual subunits to run concurrently, while subunit-specific merchandise maximizes every possible
from people who were already convinced. At number 4, it came from people who had no reason to be until the performance gave them one. 17 is a case study in how self-sufficiency scales. That is why the aftermath mattered as much as the live moment.
They operate not like a band,
some performances
but like a self-contained creative agency. Their mastery of self-production allows them to navigate a diverse array of genres while maintaining a distinct, cohesive identity.
In the days that
reinforced by famously synchronized choreography.
Level of
their fandom is one of the most organized and loyal in the industry, a force that reliably ensures massive physical
credibility
sales, overwhelming streaming numbers, international opportunities felt less like distant ambition and more like practical next steps.
From dome tours in Japan to stadium
toward larger touring possibilities.
BTS. We now arrive at the game changers.
Have long been powered by
a committed base, is a group whose name is synonymous with global infrastructure itself.
But ACON 2025 suggested that they are no longer dependent on fan energy alone to generate revenue and fundamentally reshape the music now appears to extend into general audiences and into the spaces where industry perceptions that others now travel on.
Their massive validation base ensures that any release, already or solo, is an instant global event.
It came from people who had no reason to far beyond until the performance gave them one.
Stray Kids.
If BTS built the aftermath mattered, the group as much as the live redefined how to use it.
Some performances are leaders in creative autonomy and strategic monetization.
Their sonic identity is deliberately confrontational,
like the second
a hard-hitting mix of hip-hop,
in the days that followed,
and experimental pop. Their lyrical themes, focusing on youth, struggle, and self-identity, resonate with a massive international fan base that drives global trends, streaming records, and merchandise sales with ferocious dedication. Less like distant ambition and more like practical next steps. They command sold-out tours across Asia, North America, and Europe, and have developed strong secondary income streams from limited edition merchandise and the kind of digital experience that goes beyond a quick viral consistent appearances on the U.S. Billboard 200 and collaborations with global brands are not signs of arrival. Proof of they are markers of sustained dominance.
It suggested that SB19 can deliver under global festival conditions, where pressure is high and expectations are not adjusted for anyone.
If the journey so far has been about mastering the system or rewriting its rules, when the lights go down, represents the final stage of evolution, owning the system itself. They stay in the memory of the event. Has merged artistic control with business savvy to create a model of independence that other Asian acts are now studying. Programming, collaboration, or broader music, market positioning. A sophisticated blend of P-pop broader significance reaches beyond is one distinguished by powerful vocal lines and self-produced segments has often been framed as a scene with authority, energy, and potential. Their metrics speak for themselves rather than over a billion streams on a single platform, viral social media campaigns driven by globally coordinated fans, and chart-topping positions on Billboard and in the
asking the world to believe in
their commercial operations from sold-out Asia-Pacific tours to high-demand merchandise conditions that make weakness obvious are managed with an eye for maximum value. But changes the terms of evaluation. They are self-managed.
Industries do not own their masters. Optimism
they engage in selective brand deals that align with their long-term vision. Accumulates that old assumptions independence is not a limitation.
That is why this performance mattered for more than SB19's momentum. SB19 doesn't just perform within the industry.
May now
they operate as their own sovereign entity.
By the same
the coming era of music will not be defined by who trends for a week.
Less courtesy. It will be defined by who owns their
growth,
controls their expansion, and tours profitably across borders. On execution, scale,